As this new year starts, I just thought I should just do a quick video to reflect on our journey here in Zanin, where we bought a farm and we moved to a country home. We actually didn't move to a country home, we had to build our country home from scratch. Those who've been following us for quite some time, you must have seen that our activity on YouTube got really stunted, and there was very little activity, and that's because of the reality of life and the harshness of country living. As I'm recording this video, I'm sitting by the avocado trees, which is some of the things that we inherited on the farm. When we moved in, there was already avocado trees and mango trees, and at this time of the year, the avocados are quite a good size and they are left with about 2 to 3 months to be fully matured. So we have actually learned a lot from our farm and from taking care of the avocado trees, and we have learned a lot, so much in the short space that we've been here. And for those who don't know, at the recording of this video, we have been staying here for about 2 years. I would say 2 years, 3 or 4 months now, and it's been quite a journey. But one thing I'll tell you is that what we have seen in the world since 2020 2021 was a big shift. There was a lot of people who were looking for a country home or country homes all over the world, I believe, at least here in South Africa, and some interactions with people here in Zanin. There were lots of visits from people who were looking for a country home, and it looks now that there's less activity or less people looking for a country home, and I honestly don't know why that is. And why I'm talking about this is because during COVID, it was a very terrible time to be looking for land, because there were so many restrictions, there were travel bans, and so many other things. Interprovincial traveling was restricted, and a lot of people could not move, but somehow people found a way to move around. But now that there's very little or there's no restriction at all, people seem to not be moving around that much, looking and viewing farms to live in the country homes. That's one thing we've learned. The other thing we've learned was, the property prices during the COVID time were very much affordable. They were low when you compare them to now, because we still go into the property website and we view farms and other properties. It's something we got addicted to when we're still under COVID. And when we look at the prices now, we see they have doubled, to some extent tripled, and we have no crisis now. And I just feel like there was a good window or an open window during COVID, in which God's people and those who wanted to move to the country could have acquired nice properties at very good prices. And at that time, interest rates were also low, and a lot of people were struggling, so farms were being sold because there was just a crisis everywhere. Businesses were struggling, and as a result, people did everything in a panic. So the other thing that I would talk about is doing things when you are under pressure. I just talked about how COVID brought panic. It brought panic to us. That's why we looked and we bought our property during COVID. It brought panic to people who were selling or people who were running businesses. That's why a lot of people closed, a lot of people sold farms. But when I look at it, I really wish we bought our farm when we were not under panic. When we were not so desperate. Maybe the right word is desperate. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. I just believe that there were a few things and a few details which we would have seen, not on the land, but on how we went about buying. Because some of the things that we then had challenges with when we moved to the farm are some of the things that we could have seen had we not been so fixated at buying the farm. And yeah, it's a learning curve. It teaches you that even when there is a crisis, you must stay calm and you must be observant and learn everything as it is projected and shown to you, so that you do not make a few mistakes that we made. So that's one thing. What I would just say then is, if you are that person who's looking for land and who's looking to move into a countryside, I would really advise that you take your time to look into everything, to look into your contracts, to look into the people that you partner with, and so that you do not make the mistakes that some of us made. And I still have this agency. There's still this agency to do country life, and I think it's the best time now, when we have no crisis, for you to go out there and look for a country home. It will do you very well. It will give you a peace of mind. You are not in a hurry, and you will be able to go to the right place, with the right people at the right time, and look at terms that are suitable for you, and not for other people. So that's one thing. Panic brings opportunities, and it also brings adversity to an extent. And then the other thing I can talk about is the phenomenon that you will be able to be self-sustainable in terms of producing your own food. We've been here 2 years, and I can safely say to you, we have not been able to fully live from the land. Those who know us, you know that I am still full-time employed, and now we've got a little girl, little baby that we have been blessed with to take care of and to raise in the fear of the Lord. So it's quite busy, and you don't get to do just anything and everything that you want to do. You actually have to plan your day around. Some of us have to work, and that working is every day. That working is 8 hours a day, sometimes 12, 16 hours a day. And you never really get to plan and execute everything that comes to your mind. I guess this is one of the things that happens when you move to the country, when you're still a young person who still needs a lot of money from their work, as opposed to someone who's retired, someone who has made their money and now they're just enjoying the money in peace. When you're still young like me, you don't have lots of money, you still need to work, and you still have to put in a lot of effort. So if you are young like me and country life is something that you have always dreamt about and you want to do it, I think you must just take that into account, that you will not be able to be everything and do everything that people think should be done on a country property. So yeah, that's about that. The other thing I can talk about is just how God teaches you. I have this saying that if you love the nice life, you love the soft life, you don't like challenges and stuff like that, the country life is not for you, because here you are fully dependent on God, and depending on your circumstances in moving to a country home, you will realize that there are times when you are totally emptied, you are totally undone, and all that's left in you is to say, God, whatever your will is, let it happen. I'll trust in your love, I'll trust in your will for my life, I'll trust that this is the life you want for me, so make a way. So you get to those circumstances and situations where you really have to empty yourself, where you really have to rely on God and in literally your life and everything. And it teaches us really to not think that we are these great people who do not need divine power. It teaches us that it's not only our strength that sustains us, but it is the strength of that divine intelligence that is everywhere looking out for us. And when you take that into account and you realize that when you were living in the cities, you could just wake up and solve your problems anyhow with money, with properties, and with assets that you had. You could solve your problems with those. But when you are in the countryside like us, my wife no longer works. I'm the only one working, so financially we are very restricted. When we have problems, we have to find ways. We have to be creative in the way that we go about doing things. And why we do that? It's because we believe so much in the system of raising your own child, schooling your own child. And my wife is busy with that. And she also wanted a break from the corporate life when we moved here, because we didn't have children, and she wanted time to reflect and just to enjoy life and see if she can do the duties of a housewife. But saying that is just to let you know that financially, then this becomes a problem. There are some financial problems that you have and we have now that when you look at them and you look back 3 years ago when we were still both working, living in an apartment in Joburg, I mean, those were small problems. If they needed to be solved tomorrow, we could just make them happen. We could solve the problem. But you get here and you do all these things which morally and optimally they are good, but of course it means that you are making a sacrifice, and if you get into problems, that sacrifice that you have made will really look like a very big sacrifice. So those are some of the challenges that you face, particularly if you are young, you don't have all the money, you still depend on your work to do your stuff, to be able to live on the farm. But I must say, I have learned so much. I have grown so much. I've also had unutterable personal challenges, which I believe that in due time I can share with you, and which I believe that they will make me a different person going forward. But it's really something that I love doing it. This is where I want to be. The challenges that I hear, they make me a better person, and they show me light, and they show me the way, and they teach me so much about me that I didn't know, some of my flaws and some of my shortcomings, and they point me to the right direction, even though it's so difficult for one to change behaviors that are ingrained and engraved in their heart and in their minds. Even though it's so difficult, it at least shows you that there is an opportunity for you to grow. There's an opportunity for you to transform, and God is there. Jesus is there to help you make it happen. So I've grown so much. I've learned so much about animals. I've learned so much about plants. I've learned so much about water. I mean, we built everything from scratch. I know so much about taking care of a home and building and developing and all those kind of stuff. And I'm really thankful that I've had this opportunity to do this. And I hope in 2025 we can share more and get into more details of what we do here, what we are going through, how someone can do better than we are doing. Because at the end of the day, this is why we started the channel. Credit to my wife who started the channel, because during COVID, when we were looking for a property, we looked so much into content relating to South African country living, and we couldn't find much content. So she went ahead and she started the channel, and she said, I don't want other people to not have content and context of South African country living. So credit to her, and we are living up to her dream of doing this, and hopefully we help someone, hopefully we inspire someone. And being young and taking so much of a big step, man, it's a big challenge. I won't lie to you. I was saying to someone recently that, you know what, this is the price you pay for doing grown up stuff when you are still young. So yeah, but this is why we do what we do. We do it because we struggled a lot ourselves. We do it because we saw a lot of need and a lot of big empty space that needed to be filled. And we hope that by our example and by our sharing, we make someone's choice, we make someone's decision to be a better decision, to be a better choice, and also for them not to make the mistakes that we made. And as I was saying, I hope in 2025 we can do more of these videos. We can show you our lives. And I mean, anything is possible here with our situation, with our challenges. You will know everything. You will get to know what is happening with us. But yeah, pray for us as we pray for you. Happy New Year. We hope this year God shows up in your life and shows up big time, and I hope he does the same in our lives, because we desperately need him to go forward. God bless you, and see you next time. Bye.